Welcome back. Now we're getting into the really fun stuff, right? The things that you get to kind of tell your story and tell all about your product and the value props and making sure people can really understand and get a good grasp on what they're clicking on, right? Or what they're searching for. So this is the whiffing part, right? Introducing your two ads and the different ad types. So first of all, before we kind of jump down into talking about pain points and doing anything within the ad text and how to write those and vanity URLs, I want to introduce all the different ads that you have at your disposal. So first off, you'll notice within this first section that we hooked you up with a Google Ads cheat sheet. Okay, so the different types of ads that you have available at your disposal are text ads, responsive search ads, dynamic search ads, call-only ads, and then there's some shopping showcase ads as well that are available. But we cover those in the accelerated portion. Okay, so within this portion, what we're going to discuss mostly is the text ads, the responsive search ads, and the dynamic search ads, as well as the call-only ads. Okay, I've created this helpful cheat sheet because it gives you a good kind of understanding of what the character links are, what the maximum character links that are available to you for each type of ad. Now, the reason why I did this is because it's very frustrating to spend all this time in like a spreadsheet writing all your ads out, and then all of a sudden you go to copy and paste them into the format if you're doing it across scale and they don't line up, right? So I wanted to give you an idea so when you start to kind of phrase your ads and formulate your strategies on what you should say in your ads and what you should say in your descriptions or your headlines and your descriptions or even your call to actions that you're trying to input, that you understand what the potential or the available space is for each one of those ads, right? So when we're talking about the text ads, the way that they're broken up is they look exactly like I've kind of got them formatted here, right? They're the structure and the requirements. First of all, is you have your final URL. This is the landing page that you're going to deliver the ad to. Then you have the option of having 3 different headlines, and it's going to basically formulate these with like headline 1, headline 2, and headline 3, right? And I'll show you some examples of how they look within the actual interface here just in a second. Now, as you scroll down, once you get past the headline, then you're going to have your display URL. The display URL gives you 2 additional vanity points at the end of the URL after the slash mark past .com, right? And they're 15 characters apiece. So each one of those you can utilize to enhance your keyword relevance by putting either additional call to actions, specials, or related keywords to the text that they're going to find or the object, service, or product that they're going to find once they click on the ad. Now, the description lines within a normal text ad are going to be 90 characters apiece. So you've got description line 1 and 2 or 90 characters max, right? Now, again, best practices, headlines perform best with a question or offer contained. Make sure to include brand, value prop, and or slogan to relate to the product or service back to, right? Posing a question that solves a problem by providing a benefit, that works really well. I've also given some examples down here of headlines that I've used in the past that have worked really well. Now, the responsive search ads, they're a little bit more robust, okay? These are going to key in on the Google Smart Learning aspect of things, and they're going to basically rotate the headlines and the descriptions to how it feels best to match up to the user's search query. So it's going to vary the headline to contain informational, curiosity-based questions, news, direct benefit types of headlines. Again, these ads are great for testing out multitude of headlines and messaging to drill down to create more focused messages, right? So if you're not quite sure what's really going to work or you have a large product offering with a reduced budget, it might be good to use some of these responsive ads where they're going to utilize the smart learning to really key in on the best message. Then you can actually go back and again, create some more specific ads with the text after you've figured out what works. Right? What they're going to do is they're going to allow you to create up to 10 headlines. Okay, these are 30 characters max. It'll rotate only 3 at a time. So each time your ad appears, if the responsive search ad is shown, it's not going to show all 10 headlines, right? It's going to pick 3 and it's going to vary those headlines according to whatever the user search query is, their user behavior, previous searches, those type of things, and a lot of the smart learning and previous data that we don't really have access to. And then you're going to have your description lines. You can create up to 4 of those, and it's going to rotate basically 2 of those at a time as well. It's going to pick to whichever is going to be the most relevant to what it feels the consumer is. Now, again, I've put you some examples down here, utilizing questions, props, value props, additional specials, free shipping, free returns, those kind of things, and then some description examples. Now, the dynamic search ads, these are something that I really only recommend for large scale e-commerce sites that are very, very well structured with feed-based formatting, right? Where they can pick in and you don't really have a lot of changes within the site, because these are going to update at the fastest every 24 hours. So it's something where if you're constantly updating your site either on a daily or weekly basis, the dynamic search ads may not be the best portion for you. Right? Best practices revolve mostly around having a clear and present product description, meta descriptions, and product titles optimized to performance and relate to Search Console data on the site. Now, it's a very, very complex format sometimes, especially if you're dealing with a lot of products. So this is more one of the ads that, again, if you have a very kind of stagnant site as far as the product descriptions, the product headlines and, price points and those kind of points, or I guess data points within the ads, as long as those stay consistent, the dynamic search ads are okay. I find, honestly, though, I'm much more of a control freak, and these are just kind of giving Google pretty much carte blanche to kind of figure out and dynamically generate what products and what headlines and what URLs it's even delivering them to. So it's, even if you put these into practice, watch them very, very closely and make sure you're watching your search terms and your placement reports in order to make sure that the landing pages that they're being delivered to are very relevant to the consumer's search query, so that you're not ending up with a higher bounce rate. If you deploy these and all of a sudden you start seeing your bounce rate go up in analytics, then you might want to kind of temper that and pull these back out. The next one is the call-only ads. The call-only ads are primarily for people that are literally just trying to drive phone calls, okay? The way that they look is a little bit different than what a traditional ad looks like, right? Is they're not going to have this particular call extension at the top like a normal, let me find one of these in here, like a normal call-only ad will have up here at the top, right? They're going to be more specific, where they're going to have the call 1-800 marketplace is an example out here, but it gives the phone like basically a phone emoji out here with call and then the 800 number, as opposed to a traditional basically call only ad or a traditional site extension is going to look like this, right? That's going to be a traditional call extension, and how it's going to show on a normal text ad as basically an accompaniment, where the call only ad is literally, it's all about the call, right? So this ad, I can click on the number, it'll prompt me to do a phone call. I can click here, it'll send me to the website. I can do multiple actions, where the call only ad, it simply, you click it and basically a box posts up that says, would you like to call this phone number, 800-299-9264? If you do, click OK, and it prompts the phone call. If you hit cancel, it backs out, but you're still charged for the call. So that gives you an idea of the different types of ads. Now, depending on whether or not your campaign is, it's a newer campaign, or you've got maybe a historic account in there, you might have additional options that are available. You might have this text ad. With the text ad, the spaces are a little bit reduced, right? You're going to have a 25 character headline and 35 character extended description lines, or sometimes they're 80 characters. Those are going to be a little bit different, obviously, than what your responsive search ads are. The extended text ads, as you see down below, they've got 3 headlines. We'll put these in here. As you see, basically, it's got 3 headlines and 2 description lines, right? So they're 90 characters a piece. Your 3 headlines are 30 characters a piece, and then you have your final URL, and then you still have the vanity URL as well. Now, the way that the call-only ads look whenever you're creating them, they're a little bit different, right? You've got your phone number at the top. You've got 2 headlines here. You have a business name where you have to put the business name in there, right? So if your URL is, for instance, autowarrantyfinders.com, you have to put auto warranty finder in the business name. You can't put, hey, get your extended service warranty as the business name. It has to align with whatever the domain is that you're trying to advertise. And then you also have additional space to highlight your additional value props, additional information about the service with your description lines 1 and 2. And then you have your display URL and your verification URL, which, again, the display URL is where you showcase what your particular URL is. And then you have vanity parts of it that you can add, let's say, for instance, auto warranty, right? I can put, truck warranty, extended service, something to that effect, where the display URL is different than the verification URL, because the verification URL has to be the actual URL that you're going to be sending them to within the ad. So just like within it's the final URL. So the final URL within a traditional text ad is going to be the same as your verification URL within a call only ad. If we go into, let's say, a responsive search ad, you're still going to have your display and final URL. So with the majority of the ads that you create, you're going to have a final URL and a display URL, where the call only ads, you're going to have a display URL and a verification URL. And then the final one, which would be a display remarketing, right? Or not a display remarketing, but a responsive display ad. Put it in there, get it, your girl. All right, you're going to just have a final URL. You're not going to have vanity URLs within the display portion, and it's the same thing within a YouTube. Most YouTube campaigns, some of the YouTube campaigns, you do have the ability to do a display URL as well. Again, the best practice with those is just keep in mind, like if you're trying to advertise for Nike shoes, put Nike shoes in your vanity URL, because it just gives you the ability to add a keyword or an additional value prop, additional descriptor that can help with the relevancy within your overall search matching to the consumers, their search query. Okay, so that kind of walks you through the different ad types. Before we dive into actually writing them and the different headlines that you can write and how to phrase them in order to really prompt clicks, I wanted to just go down and show you what the capabilities were, how they look within the account, and where you can set them up. Now, when you're setting them up within just a particular campaign, again, all you have to do is just go to car warranty. You'll go through here. Now, when you're actually, and it's under the ad extensions or ads and ad extension tab, whenever you're just creating a campaign, right, it's actually going to walk you through this step as you go down through. Let's say we do a sales. We're going to go search, website visits. I'll just kind of walk you through this quick. So we're doing a test, right? So we'll just do a search campaign. We'll leave all the locations there. We'll just do a dollar budget so we can max back through this. We covered the or the ad extensions, the last method, so I won't run down through those. But once you get down through the call extensions, then it's going to jump you into how to input your keywords, right? We talked earlier about keywords, so you pretty much have the gist on how to find your keywords, how to formulate them with the proper descriptors and adjectives to increase the likelihood or the sales relevance further down the cycle. So I won't touch too much on that, but we'll just throw that in there. And then from that point, after you input your keywords, that's when you go into creating your ads, right? And whichever ad is going to be displayed here is going to be determined based off of how you choose that goal, right? If you're doing a lead or a sale format and you're looking to prompt calls, then it's going to give you either an extended ad and try and push you towards call extensions, or it's going to give you the capability of doing call only ads. Now, again, that's going to be a little bit different whenever you get down to this part about what the ad that shows you. But again, it's the same simple formats, right? If you're just doing a text ad, then you have your 3 headlines, you have your description line, and you can hit done, all right? Again, you can go through this and create your campaign. If you're not comfortable creating the ads right off the bat as through the flow, you can go through and create the campaign just by doing exactly what I showed you. You'll see your ad right here. You hit, oh, I don't want to create an ad quite yet. I'm just hit cancel. You can hit save and continue, and it'll still create the campaign for you. Right? It gives you basically the setup almost running, gives you all the basic setup information that you've already input through the settings, and then you'll just hit continue to campaign. And then we'll have our campaign, and we can go back into it after we've created it, and we can create additional ads. Now, when you go back in to create the additional ad, right, it'll prompt you to either do a text ad or a responsive search ad, or you can hit the plus button and do a text ad or responsive search ad. Now, the ad variation, this is a little bit more advanced where you actually just replace a certain component of the ad. Okay, so this basically just gives you the opportunity to test out something without doing an experiment. You can test out, hey, if we switch out the headline and we try it with this during this portion or this many auctions, that's what that particular portion does. And I cover that more in the accelerated section, so I don't want to dive too much into it now. But that gives you kind of an overall understanding of the different type of ads that you have at your disposal between text, expanded text ads, your display search ads, and then your call only ads as well. So those dynamic ads, like we've talked about, I tend to stay away from those ads. The display ads as well, we're going to cover more whenever we talk about in the accelerated section about creating a display ad. So primarily just focus in on getting really, really good at creating text ads, your responsive text ads, and your call only ads, and making sure that your headlines are ringing true and very relevant to the user search query, and your ad text is providing additional value props and price points, as well as call to actions to prompt them to take that next action. Because reality of it is so many customers will look at an ad and without actually giving them that prompting and call to action for them to take the next step, like, buy now, discover more, shop online, those kind of call to actions to help prompt them to take that next action. A lot of them won't, and they'll just go down to the next competitor, where that next competitor is probably going to tell them exactly what to do. So utilize both the ad text and the ad extensions that we've covered in the lax section in order to highlight the value props, the price points, and those really must-have of your ad, along with call to actions to help alleviate or help prompt them and force them to that next position within the sales funnel, so you can work them down and increase those conversions while lowering costs and definitely put more money back in your pocket. We'll see you in the next lesson.